disenfranchised? Is it a matter of equality? Because a lot of people who shoot up schools happen to be people that are on the lower income. Do gun laws work? Do we do proper gun education? Are we as journalists missing something? That's what's serious.
Yeah.
What are we missing? And I'll tell you what we're missing. We're missing a whole sect of the population that thinks that the minute we talk about any of this stuff, feelings, it automatically doesn't matter. I will read to you directly. Not a friend of mine. He's my accountant.
Mm-hmm.
His name's Kirk. Very good guy. Very smart man. But he's also kind of a douchebag, and he's very very conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I just feel like, well, why do you talk to him? I talk to him because I won't get his perspective anywhere on this campus.
Right.
I would never use him for a quote because. So this is exactly what he thinks. Failure of government, and a prime example of why I don't want to give them more power. That's interesting. Disenfranchisement and inequality, absolute horse shit. And then he talks about these three questions: compared to what, at what cost, and where is your data? These people are very factually driven.
Right.
We as liberals, it's a scientific thing. We're more proven to be driven by emotion.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my thing. There is a truth to all this, but it's somewhere in the middle. What it is really, and I didn't want to bring this up in the middle of the meeting because I could spend an hour on it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a degradation of society.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any type of familial structure. Period. I mean, fucking everybody I know basically either has a single mom situation, and it's not to the detriment of single moms. It just is what it is.
Right.
Circumstances are better or for worse. That's what it is. I was raised by a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was an absentee mom. I raised myself.
Right.
The only reason people turn out okay, and people forget this, it's education.
Yeah.
Education is what saves a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a public school system in this country is supposed to be the microcosm of the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
You can take yourself from being a poor kid in the city, and if you're smart enough and you can learn how to read, you can raise yourself up.
Right.
But this is what made me angry, and I don't want to say angry to me. In an ideal world, this is a symptom of a bigger disease, and this is really the question right here.
What's the disease?
What is the disease?
Oh, I can answer that for you.
Go. Try me.
And it's kind of sick. The people are the disease.
No,
No,
that's
no,
lazy.
no.
That's lazy. No.
Let me finish what my thought. I'm not saying like people in general, not like the way they think. I say people because people have, over the decades, have come to this conclusion that there has to be a reason behind gun violence when there's no reasoning behind gun violence. The reason that is because gun violence happens because people want it to happen. They just don't want to say that they want it to happen. It's so weird. It's a weird way. It's like it's a weird way of how people
You're
think.
almost making sense, but you're not making sense.
Yeah,
I honestly kind of want to fucking strangle you because you do make sense. I want to take apart your brain and get you to give me what you really want to say.
Yeah.
This is okay. So what you're telling me then? Okay, so then if that's the case, then what is the genesis of that? The genesis of this violence, which is one of the questions on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, where the beginning of this is?
Where does this start? Because I'm gonna
Wait.
tell you, no. Look, let me back up. I was raised by my grandparents. Okay, my grandfather's father served during the Second World War. Now, what does that have to do with anything? It means the generation that I was raised by has a really unique perspective on this. Okay, my grandfather was born in '35. My grandfather's now 84 years old. He survived Second World War. He fought in Korea. Didn't go to Vietnam. Kuwait, Iraq. Now, what I'm saying is where does this start? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you look back, there were some sick shit going on in the 30s and 40s, but it's not like this.
Right.
So what is the genesis of this?
Right.
The genesis of this? The genesis are the stories that we've passed down from generations. The stories of violence that we sell. Like, for example, if you look up in the, I'm not mocking religion. I'm not trying to mock religion here.
You don't have to apologize.
But
I don't give a shit. I'm no
if you look
Catholic.
at religion,
Sorry.
the first thing you remember is
I'm
how
not religious.
Cain killed his brother Abel because he was jealous. So
I was raised Catholic.
I thought you were gonna say only on Fridays you were
Yeah.
Catholic.
Only on
I,
Sunday.
I was raised Catholic,
You go
but
to- have you ever done that?
you know what?
Go to a Catholic fish fry and tell them you're trying to
Yeah.
trying to work on your life.
Yeah.
I've done that for
Yeah.
a free meal. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I do understand what you're saying, Chris, but I just I feel like there's something bigger, and there's something there's something as foul in the state of Denmark. Has anyone heard that phrase?
Yep.
Thank you.
Well,
Yes.
the thing that we're missing is the missing piece. You're looking for Sasquatch.
No, but it's not Sasquatch. It's because here's the thing, though. You cannot fucking tell me, right, that
There is no answer to this question. I'm telling you this right now because this is the impossible
I think there
question.
is. I think there's an answer.
No, but here's the thing. Listen to me. Hear me. In pocket.
Like, I mean, like, for example, like, I was just going to sorry. Like, why is it that when a white person shoots up a massive crowd, he's mentally ill, but when let's say someone of color does it, he's a terrorist?
Because you're systemic institutional racism.
Yeah, but why? Because of this question, what's the
there is a reason for racism. It's because we're obsessed with winning in this country, and the common thought is, if say somebody's black, right, and there's a black kid and a white kid, and they're like, okay, we gotta prop up the black kid's school because shit is fucked up. There's an automatic assumption that if one race begins to do well, then by proxy, due to the winning complex of this country, that the other race has to do badly. There's what they call an inverse corollary, and that's not the fucking case here.
Well,
That's the difference. There's a core. Here's the thing. What it really is, and I don't know how to tackle this in the school paper, is we have a degradation of family. There is no family. People feel adrift, and you have that with drugs. That like let me provide for you a real example. I grew up at a group home. A lot of the kids that were in the group home with me would go to this. I remember. So we have like a little study area. It's like one little house that you can convert into a study hall for us. People would go in there with the psychologist, and they would come out, and magically they would be assigned a drug. It was supposed to calm them down. They weren't like wild. They weren't beating each other. They just had ADD or ADHD. But instead of working with them in therapy and using a long-term approach, they
And
just want to
behavior
solve the problem.
modification. Yeah.
Well, they'd get medication, and then the thing is, you get out of the group home, your insurance runs out, you don't have access to the medication, you're no longer on it, and you've been in a fog for so long that when you finally no longer have the medication, it's sort of like Aldous Huxley's A Brave New World. And
Yeah.
here we are. And the Soma no longer exists, and when the Soma no longer exists, the people in the story, what happened in A Brave New World, they didn't want to live anymore.
Yeah. And my son has ADHD, but we do behavior modification.